Welcome back. This is being filmed on January the 19th, 2016. Our guest in this segment is, and I'll apologize in advance for my mispronunciation of everything, but Ismail Mohamed Noor. He is the Imam of the Al-Iman Mosque in Victoria, and he just told me that an imam is like a priest or a rabbi or a minister in the other religious organizations. So it's kind of crazy times, and what would you like to talk about?
So first of all, I'd like to thank you for having me here today. It's a great pleasure to be here. Secondly, I wanted to raise the issue, something that the Muslim community here in Victoria feel very strongly about, and that is to show people the true Islam, the way that Islam is practiced by the majority of Muslims around the world, and just to show people that Islam is truly a religion of peace, and that what the media is showing, feeding people around the world, is not in reality the true Islam. The media, due to their own agenda, due to their own goals and aims that they want to achieve, the Muslim community feels that the media has misrepresented Islam. Today, a person just needs to turn on the TV and the first thing they hear is Muslims have done this and Muslims have done that.
Muslim terror bombing. It
Exactly.
never stops. It never stops. It goes on and on. It's not by accident. And it's very dangerous, especially for the Muslim community, but it's dangerous for all of us because when the people who run the country create fear and problems and difficulty, they want to involve us all in it for their own purposes. And I just think that everything we've been told about the events of the past 20 years of history, as well as the people who, on all sides, it's all not true. We're being led deliberately into a place where really none of us want to go. And they, the people who run the world, they've done it before.
Yeah.
And they're doing it again for their own purposes.
Exactly.
It's very dangerous.
Yeah. So, this is something that I always tell people, is the fact that there's around about 2 billion, close to 2 billion Muslims around the world right now. If Islam, as many people wrongly assume, was a religion of violence, a religion that preaches and encourages violence, then the world would have been a different place. But even here in Victoria, we realize that, there's so many Muslims that live here in the city, and there's never been any problems. People live peacefully with each other. There's an understanding, and this is really what the religion has, comes with. It comes with the message of peace, love, and understanding.
And it's just the fact that we have to be here and say this shows the absurdity of the situation. Really, I'm ashamed of what the media is doing, and a lot of the politicians as well. But it's worse than that. It's worse than just being ashamed. It's a dangerous situation. It threatens all of us.
Yeah.
I don't know how to fight it. There's such power.
Yeah.
There's such power.
Yeah. But I think a part of the problem is the fear of the unknown. Right now, many people see Islam as the unknown, and people are fearful of what they don't know. So I think, and to put it very frankly, the way to solve this problem, in my opinion, is through education. Is through educating people, showing them what Islam really is about as a religion, as a way of life. And we, as the Muslim community here in Victoria, that's what we've been trying to do. So we've had various open house events in the past, one quite recent, a month or so ago. And you know, all these events have been so successful. We've had 500 plus people showing up when we only planned for 300 people. And you know, it shows that the people of Victoria are open-minded people, people that are not scared away by what, you know, the media or other you know, people feed them. So I think the way forward is to educate people. Once they realize that Muslims, even though they might believe in a different religion, they're just like anyone else. You know, they're human beings. They have emotions. You know, they have lives. You know, we have more things in common than we have when it comes to differences. And I think if we highlight the things that we have in common and teach people that, you know, Islam is not a foreign thing, I think it could go a very long way.
Yeah, and I agree. But unfortunately, while your group and many others across the country are educating and, you know, bringing people together by the dozens and by the hundreds, the media, with its control of television, radio, newspaper, movie, books, reaches people by the hundreds of thousands and the millions, and they are spreading a doctrine of problem for everybody. It's a very dangerous time in the history of the world.
It is.
And, you know, it's especially bad for the Muslim community because you're the one who somebody has decided, well, listen, we've got to make sure they're not watching us, the corporations, so we've got to make them watch somebody else. And, and you know,
it's very sad that, you know, Muslims have basically become the scapegoat, you know, for a lot of, you know, different reasons, where people really should be paying attention to, you know, more important issues that, you know, have an effect in the country that people live in. The only thing that you hear about on the news now is, you know, terrorism. And for some people, a terrorist and a Muslim, they've become two synonymous words, you know.
Yeah.
A person is not a terrorist unless he's proven to be a Muslim. And if he's not a Muslim, then he becomes an activist, or, you know, other words. So it's the sad reality, it's the sad, you know, world that we live in. But that doesn't mean, you know, even though the media will always be the media, it does not, you know, prevent us as Muslims to do our part. It is sad that we have to speak up and have these kind of conversations, but I think it is also a duty as a Muslim to clarify for people to speak up, because if we don't speak up, then other people will hijack our faith and speak on behalf of the religion, when in reality they don't have any part or anything to do with the religion. Even now, groups like ISIS and, you know, other groups, sorry, other groups like them, they actually make up less than 2% of the global Muslim population. But this is something that, you know, media or people are not aware of, or at least they don't make it known
Plus
to people.
Plus they're funded by NATO, which...
You know, there's so much, you know, so many different layers, politics and so on, but it just goes to show that the majority of the Muslims, you know, 99.9% or whatever, the majority of Muslims are peaceful people, people who love to live, you know, to coexist with their fellow human, whether they be Muslim or non-Muslim, atheist, or, you know, whatever they believe in.
And it's a wonderful religion and coming from a wonderful culture, and we should all be together instead of getting split apart for the benefit of somebody else.
Yeah. One only needs to look at the history of Islam as a religion to come to realize that what people are saying is not part of the religion. The Prophet, peace be upon him, himself had neighbors that were Jewish, had neighbors that were Christian. He had in-laws that were Christians, and he would respect them, and he would you know, treat them in a very fair and just way. So all this extremism and, you know, fundamentalism that goes against the religion is, in reality, if you go back to the texts and the scriptures, you will come to realize very quickly that they don't have any claim to Islam whatsoever.
And it's been a very long, maybe 30, 40-year-long process of, of the deliberate creation of war throughout the Middle East by very powerful forces in the West who've used it for their own benefit and funded extremist and radical groups in order to create trouble, and they've done it. And who's paid a more heavy price than the people of Iraq, Libya, Syria, oh my, it's just a nightmare that these people have done.
Yeah, yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah, and you know, they say history repeats itself, you know, and if we don't learn from the past mistakes, if we don't try to rectify, you know, things that we've done wrong in the past, then we can never move forward. And I think this fear mongering and you know, playing on people's fear will not lead us down you know, a good path, and it will only create more fear and more problems. At the moment here in Victoria, we have not faced any sort of discrimination or any problems. People here have been very welcoming, very understanding, supportive. We work alongside many Christian churches, Oak Bay United Church and many others, and they've always, you know, helped us and supported us as much as they can. And we, as the Muslim community, we want to make sure that that remains in the future, that, you know, because of some foolish actions of a few people elsewhere, that does not, you know, cause problems for peaceful citizens of this country.
Okay, I agree 100%, and just a little more history. When you say history repeats itself, when I say the U.S. funds ISIS, and if you Google that, you'll see thousands of stories about it. Corporate America funded Hitler. I mean, we've got to keep that in mind, that is something that actually happened. And if they did it once, and they did it many times before, why wouldn't they do it again? So that's the situation we're all in. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure.
Thanks for watching this segment of Citizens Forum.